sit on a throne of lies.
Blake Lively's lawyer stood in federal court today and told Judge Liman they would be fine with Wayfarer calling Blake a liar at trial. Fine with Wayfarer arguing in front of a jury that she propagated something she knew was false.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Let that sit for a second. Not that she was mistaken, not that she misunderstood, that she knew, and did it anyway. Her own legal team just handed Wayfarer that argument on a silver platter and told the judge they were comfortable with it. This is a case that rises or falls on Blake's credibility. This was said 3 weeks before trial. And what happened in that courtroom today was brutal for Blake Lively. The pretrial conference was supposed to be routine. Arguments on experts, damages, social media evidence, and trial logistics. What it turned into was a public dissection of everything wrong with Blake's case, with Judge Liman doing most of the cutting. Let us start with the damages, because this is where things got genuinely embarrassing. Blake's expert is projecting she is owed $132 million. That number is based partly on the assumption that a sequel to It Ends With Us would have happened and that Blake would have starred in it. Wayfarer's lawyer stood up and said that sequel is never going to happen. The reason? Sony executives called Blake a terrorist. Those are the people who would greenlight the sequel. They are not calling her back. Blake's lawyer pushed back and said the jury would decide whether there would be a sequel, and then said something that stopped the room. There is evidence, her lawyer said, that Justin Baldoni himself wanted Blake to direct the sequel. The man Blake is accusing of retaliating against her, of orchestrating a smear campaign to destroy her career, wanted to give her her first directing job, a promotion, a career advancement. If Justin Baldoni was trying to ruin Blake Lively's career, he was doing a terrible job of it. You cannot simultaneously argue someone destroyed your professional future and acknowledge they were trying to hand you your biggest career opportunity. Those two things cannot both be true, and a jury is going to notice. But the damages problems did not stop there. One-day-old brand with a $132 million ask. That math is adventurous. Wayfarer's lawyer pointed out that Blake's liquor brand Betty Buzz was only around for 1 day before the alleged retaliation campaign started. Her experts' projections about what Betty Buzz could have been worth are built on essentially zero real data. The expert did not even speak with Deloitte. The projections were Betty Buzz's own internal numbers created to raise funding. Wayfarer called it pie-in-the-sky damages. Judge Liman was not pushing back on that description. And the track record problem made it worse. Blake has a sporadic work history. 4 movies in 8 years. Her expert is projecting she would have been working around the clock. Judge Liman asked directly whether It Ends With Us was a blockbuster success. Blake's lawyer said that is up to the jury. The judge did not seem satisfied with that answer. Now, let us talk about the social media manipulation experts, because this section of the hearing was its own disaster. Blake's expert used artificial intelligence to analyze 1.1 million posts. She did not actually read them. The AI did. The AI misclassified posts, picked up negative content about anyone, not just Blake, and used GPT-4, which has been publicly criticized for exactly this kind of error. Blake's own expert admitted the TikTok data is not reliable. Wayfarer asked for the expert to be excluded entirely. And then there is the birth video. This one deserves its own moment. When Blake first filed her lawsuit, the birth video was one of the centerpieces of her harassment narrative. She alleged that Jamie Heath showing her that video was part of the hostile work environment she experienced on set. It was in the complaint. It was in the public narrative. It was part of the story she told about why she felt unsafe. Today, Blake's lawyer asked Judge Liman to seal it. She introduced it as evidence, then tried to introduce it to the shredder. Wayfarer's lawyer said they see no need to seal it. And here is why that matters. The unsealed documents that came out earlier this year already showed that Blake herself admitted in her own communications that she knew it was a birth video. She said she did not want to watch a birth video. She knew exactly what it was the whole time. The claim that she was shown something inappropriate was already falling apart before today. Now she wants the whole thing buried before it gets in front of a jury. That is not the behavior of someone confident in their version of events. Now back to the courtroom exchanges, because Judge Liman was not done. He told Blake's lawyer it seemed like they had talked themselves into making Brian Friedman's statements excludable. Then he said it seemed like they were changing course. Then he said, "Let me hear from your adversary." He said it multiple times throughout the hearing. Every time he said it, Blake's legal team had just argued themselves into a corner, and the judge noticed. At one point, Blake's lawyer tried to argue that California law prohibits Wayfarer from filing a defamation suit over a CRD complaint, which is a fascinating thing to argue. Because what it tells you is why California was chosen in the first place, not just for treble damages, but because California law would allegedly shield Blake from a defamation countersuit over the very complaint she used to go to the New York Times. She allegedly gave the complaint to the Times before she even filed it officially. And now her lawyers are in court arguing California law means they cannot be sued for defamation over it. The whole strategy is sitting right there in the open if you are willing to look at it. Earlier in the hearing, Blake's lawyer tried to bring up Steve Sarowitz, spending $100 million on his defense to establish reasonableness in the case. Wayfarer's lawyers stopped them cold. Sarowitz is no longer a defendant. His wealth is irrelevant. But if Blake's team wants to start talking about resources and wealth, Wayfarer said, perhaps we should be talking about Ryan Reynolds' wealth instead. The judge did not shut that down. Ryan Reynolds spent months performing Pride on television while his wife's case was falling apart in court. Today, his wallet got pulled into the conversation. And with 3 weeks until trial, a judge inclined to unseal everything, and expert hearings still to come, the performance is getting harder to maintain. She came asking to be believed. Her own side just made that a lot harder. What happened today matters because it stripped this case down to its simplest question. Who should be believed when the story and the record stop matching? Blake walked into this fight expecting sympathy to carry weight. Instead, the closer this gets to trial, the more weight shifts to timelines, documents, and statements made under pressure. That is a colder room than social media, and a far less forgiving one. If your own side starts sounding comfortable with the harshest version of you, people notice. And once they notice, it is hard to make them unsee it. And that is exactly why I cannot wait for this trial to start. Because once opening statements begin, the spin gets thinner, the stakes get real, and everybody has to stand on what they actually said, did, and documented. No more curated headlines. No more vague narratives doing heavy lifting, just testimony, evidence, cross-examination, and a room where stories finally have to survive contact with facts. If today was only the preview, then the main event is going to be something to watch.
That's my